States of America. This is Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with Rick Warren and Gordon Park. Join us as we give our opinion concerning everything dealing with politics. We don't hold back, so prepare for a no-nonsense approach to the news, and no, we don't care about your feelings. Uncensored and no sugarcoating. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Hello and welcome everybody to Political Analytical. I'm your host, Eddie Hill, along with my other host, Rick Warren and James Toops. We do have Gordon Park, who is out tonight, so we're going to be taking up the slack from him since he has wussed out on us for the show. What do you have to say, James?
I think we'll be okay. Gordon has a lot of good insight and stuff like that, but our brother Gordon has things to do. I hear he's running the benefit for Nancy Pelosi for a new grill right now. She's looking for new false teeth, and I hear he's running a campaign for that. So, hey, power to you, brother, and thanks for supporting the old folks and the elderly, and we fully support you, man.
I'm sure he's probably going to just kill you later there, James.
He will. He totally will.
Your skin is on the wall, right?
It is. But we love some Gordon, man. He's a big contributor to the show, and he has a lot of good insight and stuff like that, and a lot of knowledge. And he's our constitutionalist guy. And we'll miss him tonight, but I think we'll be okay, just for a night. And Gordon, whatever you're doing, we love you, buddy.
Well, have fun tonight, Gordon, and we're going to miss you, but we got a good topic tonight. Rick, I'm going to have you start us off.
All righty. Good evening, gentlemen. I'm glad to be here with you and everything, but the news that I bear and the things that I've heard throughout this week concerning, I would say, probably the top constituent having anything to do with the Donald Trump lawyer team and anything having to do with the Capitol investigation or anything having to do with his defense team has been sabotaged. Mm-hmm. This week, we have been hit with probably one of the most unorthodox, if that's even the word I want to use, because they went into Rudy Giuliani's home with a raid that took every one of his electronic devices. And they weren't looking for Hunter Biden's computer. They weren't looking for anything except what they could find on Trump. Rudy Giuliani offered Hunter Biden's laptop to them, and they wouldn't take it. And I'm going to leave that right there and see what you guys think about as far as how safe are we as Americans when we have a judicial system and an FBI system that can do that to the top attorney in America.
So, I'm chomping at the bit on this one. So, first of all, the warrant was not constitutional. It was not legal, what they did. Second, they went in there looking for Giuliani's equipment. They went in there and they seized iPads, cell phones, a couple of laptops. And when Rudy presented to the FBI, hey, I got this hard drive. And they're like, okay, cool. What's on it? And he's like, oh, this is Hunter Biden stuff. They denied that. They were like, no, we don't want that. No, we don't want that. We just want this, this, and this. Well, on the warrant said that they were instructed to go there and seize all electronics. Okay. So for the fact that the FBI denied taking the electronics that Hunter had all his stuff on, that's illegal. They can't do that, so they're being biased on the spot. Well, this is nothing more. This is nothing more than a smokescreen. All this is the FBI going in as a smokescreen to deter everybody's attention away from what's really going on. We need to not forget what's happening with John Kerry right now. There's a lot of things happening at the border right now. We don't need to take our attention away from that. And you notice they do this a lot. They will, every time something big is fixing to break, they interject something else, and it takes the attention away. And now we're looking at this while this big break is just starting to slide off and go away.
Well, I'll give you one better than that, James. Okay. You're the FBI. You go into somebody's house. You're serving a search warrant. You're gathering property. You're gathering evidence. Are you going to take that person's word for what's on that hard drive or what's on that computer?
Exactly, man. I couldn't have said it better myself, Eddie. So he could have said, you know what, that's Hunter Biden's laptop. When in reality, there could have been anything from Rudy Giuliani to messages from him to the Ukraine. It could have been him and Putin sitting in a hot tub together talking about how they're going to blow up China. It could have been anything on those friggin', it's a witch hunt. Gordon, yes, you're right. It's a witch hunt. And that's exactly what it is. It could have been anything on that hard drive. And they neglected to take that hard drive. So first of all, that's illegal because they didn't go with what the warrant said they were supposed to do. Second, it's unconstitutional, everything they've done up to this point.
It is broke the First and the Fourth Amendment as far as free speech, and the other amendment on the Fourth. Gentlemen, my question is this: if they can do this in the essence of what they've done to Rudy Giuliani, where do we stand with probable cause? Do they come into my house? Do they come into your house, Eddie or James, just because we're talking about this? Does that give them probable cause to sit there and be audacious to the point of actually taking away our amendment rights and anything else concerning a U.S. citizen?
They absolutely can.
Let's go with what Darren says over here. He says, heck, the FBI is under control of the people who are running your government. And I'm not sure who that is because it ain't Joe or Harris. I don't know. I think it's probably going to be, that idiot freaking Obama. And then Scott Blake, he says, kind of seems to me that the Western values, freedoms, and ideas are under attack. They are attacking a way of life. This is global, guys. Patriotism is considered a big barrier for the globalists. Anyone protecting law will be under attack. Anyone following the narrative can get away. You're very right, Scott. I mean, I can actually see that taking place right in front of our eyes.
And I think Scott sounds like Scott Blake. It sounds like he's from outside of the country. Correct me if I'm wrong, Scott. Please comment where are you from? If you're within the country or not. But there's a power grab going on right here, guys. This is not just hey, let's move some things here left and right. No, this is a power grab. And the whole thing of who's running the country, it's not Joe, it's not Kamala Harris. It is what now, 40 days, I think 39, 40 days that she's been made the UK. Scott, I kind of guess, I thought she was outside of the country.
Yeah.
And we're glad to have you, brother. And we love the outside opinion. We love that. That's a fresh set of eyes of people from the outside looking in on our country and giving their take. And man, we love that because you know what? We hear a lot of shit from people that are here in the country right now, and they're all fed up, man. But people outside, especially like in Germany, that or Cuba, folks that come on the show from Cuba or these other countries, and they're like, you know what, you guys are taking the first step to communism. It's what you're doing, and you need to watch that. And because I'm gonna tell you, I'll be honest with you, the United States, we don't know what that is. We don't know what it looks like. We haven't been through that.
Oh, okay? But everybody's going to find out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll find out. It's easy. It's easy to be in a communist country and not be free, but it's not easy to be in a free country and try to be communist. If I said that right, try to be free in a communist country. It doesn't work out. Gordon, the Giuliani thing is a test. It's a test to see what more American people will stand for. Another straw, gentlemen. And, it's another straw, and it's exactly right. It's another straw. And just like gun control, they try to put straws on top of us and pull them off and say, okay, well, you know what? Since on 1963, we passed this act for gun control for banning. No, actually, it was 1980 something, banning assault style rifles, AR-15s and stuff like that. So the gun control folks just kind of sat back and said, "Okay, well, we didn't do anything about that. Well, they keep passing one gun law thing after the other. We're not doing anything about it. We're just sitting back going, okay, yeah." We're allowing our freedoms to be taken away one law passing at a time.
Gentlemen,
Little by little,
let me do a
they're gonna be
little
snatched
history
away.
test on. Go ahead, Eddie. I'm sorry.
No, I just said little by little. They're all being snatched away.
Mhm.
Yeah. Gentlemen, let me insert here a little bit something that happened to a sitting president at that time. There were 15 minutes of tape. And I think you might know who I'm talking about. His name is Mr. Richard Nixon.
Never heard of him. No.
And you know what happened to him. Okay. Just over exactly
Yeah.
something that doesn't even, I mean, it was very historical what happened. Yes. But if you look at the last 8 years of what's going on in the administrations and the third term of Obama coming up now, you see blatantly disregard for any law, for any constitutional right, and anything else that comes their way, because guess what? You don't count.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, when it comes to the American people and defending the Constitution and everything else, Darren says they don't obey the Constitution because they hate the Constitution. I really don't think they hate the Constitution. I think they look at the Constitution as a barrier to what they want to get done, because there's at the bottom line and the end of the day, they have to look at the Constitution and say, well, we want to do this, this, and this, but boom, that thing says I can't do nothing. So I think maybe they do hate it. I don't know, but I think it's more of a barrier of, to prevent them from what they want to get done. And their crazy ass, agenda that they have, this leftist, freaking radical, psycho, weird, crazy ass agenda.
That's why they hate it, though, James.
That's probably why. Yeah, they hate it because it's a barrier. It's like Eddie. It's like having a TRO. You can't go visit your kids at your baby mama's house because you have a freaking restraining order on you. So do you hate the restraining order, or do you hate the fact that your baby mama put that restraining order against you? What's more important? So it's like the restraining order is the Constitution and the baby mama is the people. And
I think it's a little bit of both, dealing with people that have restraining orders. And I think they don't like either one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Scott says you guys are the last free country. And Scott, I was talking to Rick offline earlier and saying that, you know what? We're one of the smallest countries out here. Like, America's this big. Russia is like this big, China's like this. And we're one of the last free countries. And that's a fact, man. The problem is, and he says the hurdle is you guys. We are the hurdle. And so we're trying to figure out, so when is this civil war going to start? Because it's coming down to it. And I mean, it's getting bad. It is getting bad. I don't know what's going to happen. So we have different options that we're weighing out right now, right, Scott? So we have civil war, which is right here. And then we have China and Russia and North Korea, which is here. And we have all these things that's bearing down on our country right now. And what are we going to attack first? What are we going to not even attack? What are we going to address first? Is it going to be the Civil War thing, or is it going to be Russia? We're in such a low state right now, in such a vulnerable position, that these other countries know it, and they're going to take advantage of it. And
exactly,
what do we do? What do we do right now? I mean, are we going to have to fight out in our front yards? What's going to happen?
Let me ask you, Eddie, what do you think about this? Do American people, as far as our generation, we know what patriotism is all about. We've lived it. I myself personally have people that has been in the military since Korean War and even further, World War II. We are a military family. We know what patriotism is, but my question is, Eddie and James, do the people of this day in America understand what it is to be a patriot?
They absolutely not. They really don't, Rick. You know, we grew up, at least I know I did, in schools that were on base. My father was military. You know, we said the Pledge of Allegiance. You know, we had the American uh, pride instilled in us, you know, through school, through church, everywhere. We had prayer in school. A lot of things that the kids don't have nowadays, and it's frowned upon. But why is it frowned upon? You got to ask yourself that. The reason all this is frowned upon is because it gives them more people to fight later in order to take away what we already have. They don't want us to have the Constitution. They don't want us to have these freedoms. They don't want us to have these rights. They want to be able to rule and become extremely wealthy. They want to be able to gather a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's all it's about is money.
Power. It absolutely is. And so
if the kids nowadays were taught to have that American patriotism within them, if they were taught this in school, if they were allowed to have prayer in school and that kind of a thing, it would create a monster they wouldn't be able to get rid of. They've been working on this for years. This isn't something that just happened overnight.
Oh,
they've been
no.
putting stuff away little by little, teaching kids not to pray, that to believe in God is wrong, to believe in the United States is wrong, to believe in the Constitution is wrong, to be gay is great, to be able to choose what you want to be as far as your gender and so forth and so on is completely appropriate, to be able to ask for a sex change at the age of 13. All this is supposed to be great. That's what they're teaching them. You know why? Because it makes America weak. It divides the country. And that's what they're doing.
Oh, blatantly. Yes, you're right, Eddie. As far as the division, I'm 65 years old, gentlemen, and I have never in my lifetime, and I've taken great pride in being a part of political parties and everything else that goes on in America when we had our election, but I have never in my life seen the division that has come upon our United States of America like it has here in the recent few months and in the recent few years, actually. And it's despicable.
So let me do this right quick. Gordon can't be with us, but Gordon has this statement right here. They are using the Constitution to change the meaning of what America means. They're retrofitting that Constitution, our Constitution, to take away the original rights of our Constitution. And that's a fact. That is a fact. They're trying to twist words, and they're trying to do everything they can to fit the Constitution to their narrative. Now, let me give you an analogy. So the stimulus packages, right? They're trying to dump trillions of dollars into the stimulus package. Let's picture a swimming pool, okay? Big old swimming pool. You got a shallow end, you got a deep end, right? If you take out of the shallow end and dump it into the deep end, guess what happens? In a brief moment, you offset the balance of that swimming pool, aka you stimulate the economy. But in the end, it levels back out. Where are we getting these trillions of dollars to take from one side, dump in the other side, and hope that it does this? We're not taking water from our neighbor's swimming pool and adding it to ours. We're not inflating anything. What we're doing is we're borrowing money from other countries, or we're printing more money, or we're raising taxes. So all this stimulus that they're talking about, the $1 trillion stimulus and all this other bullshit, because that's what it is taking from one end of the pool, dumping it into the other one, and just for a brief moment, it offsets, and then guess what? It levels back out. We're going to be paying this thing for a long time. In fact, our grandkids and our great-grandkids, because now I'm hearing that Biden is trying to go for a fourth stimulus package. What do we need this shit for? What do we need this for? Let's open the freaking economy. Texas has opened up 100%. Rick, I don't know where you're at, but the last time I was in Indiana, which was last week, I was in DC last week, and I was in Kentucky last week. They're not fully open, and they are hell bent on wearing a mask. If you go in the store, security guards with mace in their hand. Hey, sir, you need to put your mask on. Oh, my bad, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm from Texas, so we're 100% open. Our economy is doing great, and our infection rate's down. Best of luck to you. And that's the answer I had to them. That's the answer I had to these guys. I'm sorry, man. I'm from Texas. We don't have this mask thing. We're 100% open. Our economy is doing badass, and our infection rate is way down. And they're like, really? Yeah, really. You need to go educate yourself, man.
Okay,
and
Rick,
walk off.
Read what Gordon said here.
Case in point to Eddie Hill's point. Caitlyn Jenner is becoming the voice of reason in California. Transgenders leading the state as a Republican.
She's got a voice too. She's got a nice voice.
And that's to me, that's despicable in itself.
So now what they're doing is they're infiltrating the Republican Party, because one way or another, they're going to try and hang on to the power they have.
Mm-hmm. So
I can't. Wow.
Gordon will probably agree with this right here. So I'm not surprised that Caitlyn. You know what? I'm not even going with Caitlyn. It's Kyle Jenner. Let's just call it for what it is, man.
Bruce.
It's fucking Kyle Jenner.
Bruce Jenner.
Bruce. Yeah, Bruce. Kyle. Bruce. Yeah. It's two manly names. Whatever. You know what? Bruce Jenner. I don't give a shit what he says, man. Gordon will probably agree with this. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to infiltrate the Republican Party as a Trojan horse and destroy it from the inside, sabotage Republican Party. That way, the Democrats can have whatever the hell they want.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
Our best hope, man, is 2022, and we can take the House back. That's what we have to look forward to right now.
That is exactly what they're doing, James, and what is devastating not only to my state, the state of Kansas. We have a Democratic governor, okay? She is still wanting the mask mandate, okay? It isn't to the point where we have police or anything else like that. But if you go into to Dillon's, or if you go into Target, or if you go into one of these major malls, yes, you're told, or not. You're not asked. You're told, sir, you need to have a mask on.
Yep.
And what's devastating also is the fact, and I know this is a touchy subject, but I'll tell you what, I don't give a damn. I am sick of the intrusion of these migrants coming up through the border states, and we're not doing a damn thing about it. It is killing. It is devastating. It is debilitating our form of government and our economy.
Actually, there's 4 or 5 counties that have already declared state of emergencies here in Texas, and they are asking for federal troops to come in and help law enforcement to prevent the influx of migrants that are coming out. They're attacking civilians. They're attacking Americans. They're stealing, burglarizing, doing robberies. I mean, you've got all kinds of illegal shit that they're pulling, and they cannot keep up with it when you got a county that maybe has 3 deputies.
Yeah.
James, what did you tell me earlier about the amount of drugs that are coming up?
Man, it is so bad, Rick. It's so bad. So last report that I heard, it was 13 or 14 pounds of fentanyl. 13 or 14 pounds of fentanyl. Fentanyl is a deadly drug. A lot of people don't know this about fentanyl. My daughter, my oldest daughter, when she was born, she was a preemie, so she was given fentanyl in the hospital. So when they would go to switch her syringe out, we would have to leave the PICU or the NICU, and the nurse, a doctor, and a security guard would have to be in there when they take the syringe out of the syringe thing and dump it in and wash it out and then apply a new one. There was 3 people involved in doing that. Fentanyl is a very, very dangerous drug. It's a very deadly drug. And what it does is it addicts people to more heroin. If heroin's not addictive enough. Well, fentanyl, they've seized 13 pounds of fentanyl in the last 20 or 30 days. Okay. Meth has increased by like 300%. Marijuana, not like it's a big deal. It's just weed. But either way, it's come across the border and they're seizing 20,000 pounds of this stuff. Man, there's just so much drugs and things flowing through the border right now. And it's not even, you coming from Mexico now, you want to get caught by Border Patrol. You're coming through across the border and going, hey, here I am. Because they know what happens is they'll pick you up, they'll house you for a minute and get your background information and all this other stuff. And then guess what? They're putting you on an airplane to your destination of choice. So you come to the border and you want to go to New York? Okay, cool. You're going to New York, and guess what's
literally a minute. Seriously. And Danielle says, Eddie, did you see where there was a house in Houston that had 90 people in it suspected human trafficking?
Yes,
yeah, I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. And I wouldn't doubt it one bit as far as the human trafficking. They've been arresting a shit ton of people coming across with human trafficking. Finding people in the trunks, finding people in secret compartments in vehicles, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
And Scott says, I haven't worn a mask since this started. I've been challenged in shops. I explain I have a mental health, so I'm exempt.
I love it. Scott fucking kicks ass, man.
And then Darren says, those parties are two heads of the same beast. The main reason Trump was effective is because he wasn't a politician. And he was, can't see with my eyes.
He was the best hope for the people that adhere to the Constitution.
Yeah. Yeah, I got half the yard still in my eyes from mowing the grass today.
So yeah, it's cool, man.
Got allergy.
We got you back, bro. But Scott and Darren, you guys win the internet for the night. Love you guys, man. Y'all commenting the shit out of some stuff, man. And especially from an outside point of view, that's a very important thing to us, here at Political, because, we hear it, like I said, everybody's, communication from inside this country, but from the outside, it's very important to hear that outside point of view, like a fresh set of eyes looking in, and that's a very important thing. So thanks guys for chiming in on that and, being here with us, man. It's really cool.
Guys, after our show, sometimes I have people from Canada that message me, and they're very concerned. They're very concerned as what is going to happen to their neighbor, the United States of America, and with good cause. Because if we fall, gentlemen, everything else goes with us. Canada is on the list too.
Let me tell you guys what else this is changing. With the influx of all these immigrants, if you want to call them that, coming in illegally, a lot of people are moving to Texas and Florida and different states.
Yep.
From California. Let me tell you what that's doing to the economy. In California, a 1,000-foot home with 2 bedrooms is going to cost you about $500,000.
What?
Okay, which means, that means they can sell that house for about $500,000. That's no lie. That is the honest truth there, Rick.
Dang.
They're coming over here to Texas, and what they're doing is they're buying up properties in areas like where I live, and they're offering top dollar.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Which means land and home prices are going up. So what a house that say 2-3 years ago would have ran you say 250,000 is now running you about $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
And they're paying it and more to move into these neighborhoods because they're thinking, wow, I get a home with 5 acres on it, 4-bedroom, 3 baths, whatever the case might be, something that would run, a good $2 million in California.
Yeah.
They're getting it for pennies on the dollar in their mind. But what's happening is it's driving these land prices up. People are getting screwed with their taxes because although the taxes haven't gone up on the property values have. And when the property value goes up, the taxes, even though they remain the same, go up as well. Okay, what you're going to be paying for taxes for the year. So if you're paying, say, $5,000 a year on taxes, you're going to be paying about 8 to 10, if not more, a year on taxes. So the people that have been working all their lives and living in these neighborhoods that are even at this point struggling to maintain their home for their family are not going to be able to afford their home any longer. They're going to be forced to sell and move because they cannot pay the taxes on how much that property value has gone up. And you can sit there and fight with the tax office all day long. And you know what they're going to tell you?
Sorry,
Get
Charlie.
screwed. Yeah, get screwed. Too bad. Because we have people that are willing to pay it. So they don't care about the family. They don't care about the American family. And all these prices are just shooting to the roof. And people are going to either have to pay it or they're going to have to sell and move.
Yep.
Their homes that they've lived in probably most of their lives, they're going to have to give up because they cannot afford to stay there.
Dude, there is people running from California, people running from New York, and they're starting to impose residency taxes. So if you're trying to sell your house in New York and you want to move to Florida or you want to move to anywhere, they're starting to require you pay taxes on that house a year, up to a year after you sell it, or after you not even sell it, but in the process, you have to pay like up to a year on taxes in the state, even though you're not even living there. You're just, you're just moving out of, you want to get the hell out of there, like a lot of people are doing, and they're flooding towards Texas. They're coming to Texas in droves.
It's unbelievable here in Kansas too. I've got 2 real estate people that I talk to, and they cannot keep up with the people who want to buy houses because the market is so. I mean, it's being raked across the coals right now. But the biggest thing that I guess is getting me is that the fact, gentlemen, that we have a system that is giving the illegal aliens, the immigrants, excuse me, they are giving them $1,500 credit card the first time that they walk across the street.
Well, you said it right the first time.
Giving them, thank you. They are giving them free room and board.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Biden last week just got done spending $82 million on hotel rooms to house the illegals that are flooding into this country. But you know what?
Where was our troops? On the Capitol Hill siege?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what
Yes,
else?
in the car garage.
We have homeless veterans and homeless people. And people that just because they might have a little bit of trouble with their credit score can't get a credit card, can't get a loan, can't be a part of what they call the American dream. But let that person from Mexico walk right across the border. By God, here it is. You can have whatever you want because this is America.
Well, Rick, you and I talked about this earlier. I was on a trip last week and, I flew into DC, I flew into Chicago and Indiana and everywhere else. And, I got searched at TSA because, you go through this body scan thing and I did this and I had my head turned like that. And they wanted to pat me down and all this other shit because I had my head turned this way. Literally, because I had my head this way. And, if I'd have been Gordon, I'd have probably accepted a, full body cavity search, but I'm not about that. So love you, Gordon. But you know what? Hey, man, I was at a fucking airport when they already had my ID. They already had my boarding pass. They already knew everything about me. They searched all my shit. And then they wanted to pat me down because I had my head turned to the left like this. And they patted me down and all this other stuff. But let me come from the other side of the border to this side. They don't even require an ID. They don't want nothing. They don't want to do shit. They want to let you in, give you a free pass, and not collect $200, collect $1,400, and go about your business with a free airfare to whatever city of your choice. And guess what? They're not getting searched at TSA. They're not doing nothing. They're doing what the hell they want to do. But as an American citizen, it pissed me off that because my head was turned a certain way, they wanted to pat me down and everything else. And I told that dude, I said, man, I hope you like what you feel, motherfucker, because guess what? It's down there by my left knee. Go ahead and start feeling that shit up. And that really pissed me off that they wanted to do that shit. I'm a fucking retired firefighter. American, and I'm sitting here in my country trying to fly from one state to the next shithole, which was DC. And by the way, contrary to what you see on TV, DC is a nice place as far as the airport goes. Very friendly people. Very nice.
Gentlemen, he couldn't resist.
They were very nice.
He couldn't resist.
Who's that?
Right there.
There's my boy.
There he is. Oh my God. Look at the head on that.
Man, God, I bet he has a backache because
that's what she said, Rick.
Hey, if your back hurts,
How you doing,
your
Gordon?
back hurts, your front's killing me. If your back hurts, man, I'm just like,
Welcome, Mr. Gordon Park. See, I knew he wasn't going to be able to stay gone on this one.
No,
I talked too much shit. Here he is.
I could tell by his responses he had something to say, gentlemen.
Gordon, let's have it, baby. Come on with it.
Real quick before
All right.
Gordon says anything, you know how to get around all this shit, guys, don't you?
I
We
do.
have to give up our citizenship, go to Mexico, come across illegally, then we get all our shit back.
It sounds.
We have better lives.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We just have shitty policies.
All right, so I'm going to start off with first things first. James, the day I ever do anything for Nancy Pelosi or her dentures is the day that I piss on your grave.
You knew that was coming, James.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Take it like a man. Take it like a man.
I love it. I won't have a grave, buddy. I'll be shot in space. So if your little
Second
thing
thing
gets
is-
pissed that high, that's cool.
Second thing is I want to compound on a couple of things that I said earlier, or I typed earlier, is, when we talk about where our state is, where our country is at this time, there are no more straws to put on our back. There are no more straws to put on the camel's back. As far as I'm concerned, that camel is fucking dead.
I
The
agree.
immigration issue is not going to stop until Texas secedes from the Union and declares war on the border.
Thank you.
And until we put 5 center mass and about 150 of these people coming across the border, primarily the coyotes and the people doing the main running, it's not going to stop.
Nope.
Who do we address first? Russia, China, or our own in-house? I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. We have to take care of our own in-house before we can even think to go outside of our borders.
Absolutely.
It is fucking
Exactly.
time for us to stand up and take our country back.
Yes,
Well,
sir. It is.
Because it is a sad state of fucking affairs. Well, we have Bruce Jenner standing up as the voice of fucking reason in the most liberal state in the United States.
Jesus Christ.
Well, listen to this. There was a county judge last week that even said that this is an invasion of Texas.
It is.
And
It damn sure is.
he said we're getting no help. He called for a state of emergency for his county, and he is calling in for troops to help along with the law enforcement officers, because counties around here, especially the southern counties, normally have about 3 deputies on per shift.
Mhm.
And that's it. So when you have a county with 3 deputies and they're having 1,000 square miles, just throwing that out there, to patrol with 3 deputies, that's a lot. How are 3 deputies going to be able to take care of all these issues? They can't.
I have a question for you, Eddie. Let me rephrase. Sheriff can deputize anyone at any time for any reason, correct?
Correct.
So these southern borders and these southern counties, why can't we just deputize the entire county?
You can, as long as they're not federal criminals. If they're, or not even, I mean, shouldn't say federal, as long as they're not criminals with a felony background.
Yeah.
You can.
Deputize them all.
And
And since there are those counties down there that have already declared war on this, it's open season. No
Well,
bag limit.
Gordon, you know what that means, right? That's already in the Constitution. You realize that, right?
Oh yeah, I know.
It's called a militia. It's called a militia.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
but a militia has to be well organized and can only be set into motion
Mm-hmm.
by the federal government. It can no longer be set in by the state government. It can only be set in by the federal government.
And when
those fucking morons up in Washington, D.C. that can't find their ass with both hands on a map
mm-hmm.
are never going to do that.
Nope.
So how do we get around it? We use the second most powerful law enforcement agency in the country, and that's each and every county sheriff's department.
Well, we damn sure can't trust the FBI, Gordon, because look what they did to Rudy Giuliani.
Look, Rudy Giuliani, that whole thing was nothing more than how much more is the American people going to take? We're going to go in here and we're going to take everything that we want, not everything that the warrant said, everything that we want. And we're going to see if they'll stand there and bend over and take another one right in the culo. And for those of you who don't speak Spanish, culo means ass.
And everybody did.
Asshole. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
you know, man, it was unconstitutional and it was illegal what they did to Giuliani. And, you know, it's bullshit and it's a power grab. But, Gordon, I think it's more of it's a distraction of what's going on with John Kerry right now. Man, there's so much going on with him, his traitor ass self, you know, and not to mention the Biden stuff going on, dude. It's just a big ass distraction, you know, and it's like,
but
people are going to follow the ratings, you know.
But it's the same play that they did when Clinton was on trial.
Mm-hmm.
It's the old Houdini. Look over here while I'm screwing everything up over here.
Yep.
Exactly.
And it's nothing has changed. Nothing is going to change.
No, the only thing that has changed, there's more outlets. Now you're looking at Facebook, Twitter. I call it fuckbook, twatter, instant ham, snatch chat. I call it all that shit. That's the only thing. You have more outlets now. You don't have PMSNBC, MSDNC. You don't have all these other outlets. Now you have that plus Facebook and everything else. And they're diverting your attention away from actually what's going on right now in the country to bullshit like Rudy Giuliani and the stuff that's happening with him. Who gives a fuck?
Question.
Go ahead.
And this is going to play into your point, James. Who remembers what Oliver North did and how much that took over everything on every news channel across America?
That went on for a long time with him.
It did. But that was the main focus, Oliver North. And for those of you who don't know what Oliver North did, look it up. Do some research on your own. Practice.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I'm saying that is because how many of the four of us sitting here have their cell phone within hand reach? On those cell phones, how many twatters, Facebooks, how many of those apps do we have on there?
All of them.
All of them.
I got Fartbook. I don't have Twatter and I don't have Instant Ham and Snatch Chat and all that.
I don't do TikTok or nothing like that.
Yeah.
TikTok, I don't do that either.
But the media outlets is what I'm getting towards is we carry these things around in our hips. We carry these things around in our back pockets. We are never without it.
Exactly.
And so things that focused our attention, like Oliver North back in the 80s, is because in the early 90s, because there was nothing else. Now these things put out by Apple and Microsoft and the wonderful Bill Gates, they've completely taken the focus off of what we should be doing in America, and that is seeking justice for America.
Absolutely. You know what? Darren made a good point right here. I want to make sure we get this out here. He says, trouble is, it's got to the point where you guys are marked as domestic terrorists by the Biden regime simply for wanting to stick to the Constitution. Darren, that is a fantastic point. And we are getting chastised for wanting to exercise our rights from the Constitution and you know, all these things. And we're getting called, you know, Nazis, and we're getting called, you know, domestic terrorists and racists and all this shit for sticking to our Constitution because it doesn't fit their agenda. It fits the American people's rights and will. And we're getting called all these nasty little things, right? And we have to find a way to combat this, because it doesn't matter what you do in this country nowadays. If you offend one person, guess what? You've offended a group of millions of people, and now your ass is in a sling. You can't get away with anything nowadays. Man, if this would be the 80s right now, dude, there'd be mullets flying all over the place. MacGyver coming out the woodworks and spitting at people with duct tape and bubble gum. Man, I'll tell you what, it's just the times we're in right now is so fucked up. I don't even understand what to do next, man. It is just so bad right now. Like, it's so crazy. Can't do anything.
It's like what Danielle said here, guys. It says, here's the thing. We know we need to do something, but what do we do? And I'm going to say this here on air, okay? How long have we been on air? I know I've been with you guys probably about 2 years now, and we've been allowed to do. Mm-hmm. We've been allowed to say pretty much what we want to say and do what we want to do and everything. But at the same time, they're watching us. They know who we are, what we are.
We've had our warning.
Until we pull the string to actually act upon what we're talking about, they'll continue to let us talk, because that's all we're doing, gentlemen. We're talking. Yeah. We're not acting upon what we want to do. We're not acting, and neither are any of the other citizens of the United States, because guess what? We don't want to go to a gulag. We don't want to be a prisoner of war. We don't want to sit there and think that the United States would pull guns on its citizens. Well, let me tell you what, they already have.
Well, there's certain wording that we as a show on Political Analytical, we stay away from. There's certain phrases that we don't use for a purpose. There's certain things that we don't talk about for a reason, because we know we're pushing the boundaries. We know we're right on the edge of things, but there's certain little phrases that can get us in a bind and get us, like he said, locked up, the key thrown away, and that's a wrap. They forget about you. So we know purposely we don't do these things. We don't say things, certain things, because of that reason right there. There's things that come to mind like uprising or incitement, insurrection. We're not going there. We may be talking about things like that,
sedition,
but for the record, we're not doing things like that. Right. I think it's always important to let the American people feel how they want and let them act upon how they feel. Okay, on the show right here, we represent our people and our constituents and our American folks, and we're Americans down to the blood, man. But when it comes down to it, we're not going to sit here and incite anything, and we don't want to influence anybody into inciting anything, right? So if you feel some kind of way, it's not on us, not our fault, first of all. Second, we're not going to do this and push this any kind of agenda and say, hey, we need to go out in the street and do this and do that. We are not Black Lives Matter. We are not Antifa. We're not QAnon. We're not none of this bullshit. We're a show where our feelings are progressed and talked about. And, like in the intro, we'd like to have your feelings, but you know what? If you have some dirty stuff to talk about, and that's fine. But we don't care about your feelings. If we hurt them, our bad. But you know what? We're not going to hold back. And I think that's our right to do that as Americans.
I'm looking over here, Rod. He says, or that flag right behind you. No suit for you. LOL.
Mr. Rod must be a Seinfeld fan, because I'm hearing the suit Nazi in that one, right? No suit for you. I'm hearing that right now. Rod, hey man, I appreciate your honesty, brother, and thank you for your opinion.
Okay, so we also have not only this kind of stuff taking place, but let's look at what's going on as far as people being shot all over the country, and by black on black, Hispanic on Hispanic. Nobody cares unless it's a white cop involved.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of crap going on right now, which I think should worry anybody that carries a badge, because if you are involved in any type of shooting, that involves somebody other than white, you're going to probably get hosed. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I'm saying that in a very cautious way, that officers need to be very careful. But like what we say in law enforcement, it's better tried by 12 than carried by 6.
That's right.
Exactly. And that's
damn
amazing
right.
because you know what? I know where Mr. Kennedy lives, and I would go out there very happily and shake his hand as a United States citizen, okay? But I'm not going to sit there and do it without a firearm nowadays. I don't go to the city unless I'm carrying, because that's where the craziness is. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what to do. You don't know what's coming up behind you. And it's getting to be very, very scary times, gentlemen, that you have to sit there and protect yourself as a U.S. citizen against these kind of mob rules.
Look, Rick, I've done this before, and I've showed you guys before. I don't even sit in my house without carrying, period.
Right.
I don't care. I don't go anywhere without carrying. That's just the way I roll. You know, I am in my house right now. I can carry all I want. I'll go outside and I'll go in my truck and I'll go down the road and carry all I want. And that's just what I'm going to do, because I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anything. I don't trust our government right now. I don't trust our Senate, the House. I don't trust anything right now. Anything that has to do with political, I don't trust it. I trust this show, our show, because I trust you guys and everybody that's in our feed right now. I'm a little leery about Rod, but I kind of like Rod. Rod kind of, you know, I kind of like Rod. He told me I couldn't have no soup, but I like the guy. So, but otherwise, you know, I don't trust anything, man.
Oh, real quick, guys. You know, you've got that one girl that got shot by. We're assuming it was Capitol Police when she entered the.
Ashley Babbitt.
Yeah, Ashley Babbitt.
Does anybody know who this person was that shot her? Has anybody heard anything else
It
about
has not been publicized yet. It has not been.
Now,
in fact, it has been dropped.
If this was a BLM type ordeal, can you imagine the difference in the scenario?
I did hear that her family is filing a major lawsuit against Capitol PD.
A $10 million lawsuit.
It should be more.
And that's kind of sad when we sit there and have to put a price on a human life.
Not only that, but it's also sad whenever George Floyd's family got 27 million on a lawsuit. That's terrible. That is disgusting. You know, and she wasn't armed, or and I hate to use the term, it was black and white, but it literally was. He was on fentanyl, he was a drug addict, and he was a felon, and she was a retired friggin'
Navy officer.
I don't even like to use the word retired or ex. Like, she was a Navy officer, not armed or anything, and got shot in the neck and died on national TV.
Gordon, what's your thoughts on this?
I think everybody can pretty well guess what my thoughts are.
We want to hear it anyway, Gordon. So just come on.
Okay, well, then I'm going to put it out there just as blunt as I put everything else out there.
Fucking do it.
If you are stupid enough to go up against a police officer, you fucking get everything you deserve. That man or woman is there and has been trained to use lethal and non-lethal that hurts weaponry. No one wants to have 15,000 volts go through their body. No one wants to get shot. So guess what? Don't fuck with the cop. It's kind of like walking up to the entrance of a cave where you know there's a bear and setting off fireworks on the inside of it. Why would you do that? Why? Because you're not that fucking bright. And if you have enough balls to do it and then get pissed off at the bear when he comes out and kicks your ass, what do you expect?
I mean, come on.
And I mean, let's look at these people that are doing this stuff. The girl that was shot, she's a 16-year-old girl, right, Eddie?
Right.
Who had a knife going after two other individuals, not a college degree. No common sense. You can't buy common sense these days because it ain't that common. You got another drug dealer or drug addict up in Minnesota with that other fucking that died up there. I guarantee you he didn't have a fucking master's degree.
No.
You know, you look at all the people that are shot by police officers. Like, where is their fucking brain?
They don't have one. They might have a
Mr.
PhD, but it's a post hole digger in the backyard. And that's
Mr.
don't be a
Mr.
thug.
Kennedy,
But that's the only reason they have that is because they stole it. They ain't got a clue how to use one.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Kennedy inserted something here. It says, "Don't be a thug if you can't take a slug."
I'm starting to like Mr. Kennedy a lot more right now. Kennedy's fucking awesome. Rod, my boy Rod. Hell yeah, man.
That's my man from Kansas there now.
That's one of your guys.
Yeah.
You know him?
Yeah, personally.
That's cool, man. That's cool. Rod, thanks for being on, man. Darren, everybody, thanks for the comments, man. It's been a good show. It's been a good night. You guys have made this show really cool. Gordon, I'm glad your ugly face graced our presence.
Me too.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
It is that time.
damn it, man.
What?
It's always when
No
it starts
way.
getting fun, man. It's always that
Yeah.
time when it gets fun.
Time.
Damn.
Rick, we're going to start off with you tonight.
Guys, thank you tonight for another good show, and thank you for your opinions. Thank you for your truths. Every one of you has spoke the truth tonight, and every one of you need to be applauded for standing for what you stand for and being who you are and what you are as far as a citizen of the United States. We have many citizens of the United States that are scared to stand up, and we will stand up for them. We have a lot of people that cannot get the justice that is coming to them unless people like us literally point it to them and have them go the direction toward what justice is. And I just want to say thank you again for everybody that's on this group. Thank you for everybody in the chat for making this a wonderful program. But we stand for the truth, and we will not back down from that.
Awesome, Rick. Thank you so much. And from here, we're going to go to Gordon B. Park.
All right, guys. My final thoughts for the night here. My final thoughts for the night. It's time to start standing up. It's time to start being the voice of opposition.
Yep.
It's time to stop sitting back on your heels and sitting back on your ever-widening asses and letting the world pass you by and just simply saying, oh, well, hey, can't do anything about it. You can do something about it. There are people around you that think the same way we do. There are people around you who believe the same way we do. Start forming groups. Start changing things from your cities and your counties to multiple counties to your states. We can't go out there, and I refuse to ever submit that we should go out there and fight in the streets and draw blood in the streets. That's not the America I know. Do I think it's coming to that? Yes.
Yes.
Will I cry the day that it happens? Yes. But we cannot be bystanders anymore. We cannot sit by and let it happen anymore. It's time to take a stand. So stand up. Find the people that think and believe as you do. And start changing things in your community. Because when you change things in your community, that ripples to your city, which ripples to your state, which ripples to this country. Quit being fucking lazy.
Amen. James, you're up.
So our time as adults is over, right? No matter what financially happens, what goes on in this country right here, this right here is our future. Our kids are our future. And when they decide to have kids, our grandkids are our future. Us as adults, all of us in this right here, especially Gordon, we're all old. We're all really old, especially Gordon. So that's okay. I love you, Gordon, man. I'm just fucking with you. But either way, these kids right here, this is our future. This is what this country depends on right now to sustain. This right here, this little crazy little thing right here. Let me tell you something. She is smart as it get. I don't even know how you describe this thing right here. She's smart as it gets. This one right here is a freaking genius. Trips over air all the time, and I have to tell the Bella, there's air down there. Watch it. Don't trip on the air. But she's a freaking genius. All right. But these kids right here, this is what's going to be paying back all these stimulus packages and everything that's going on right now. This is what's going to be paying this back right here. These kids, they don't deserve that. They don't deserve this at all. And it's not only these kids right here. These are my kids. It's not only my kids right here. It's their kids that's going to be paying this shit back too. So my grandkids and my great grandkids are going to have to pay this stuff back. As like I said, as far as we go on this panel right here, we're already old to where, you know, we're situated. We have our thing. We're going on and we're good. But this is what I'm worried about right here. And I would like to also thank everybody in the comments tonight, because you guys are across the pond and you guys see what's going on from the outside in. And it's great to have that insight. And once again, you guys, thank you for letting me be a part of this show. And I can't thank you guys enough. You know, it's a great honor. And I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be with you guys. And I know my girls appreciate, you know, the Americanism in this house, right? America, right? America.
Hey, James, I got a question for your youngest daughter.
Which, this one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, unicorn?
Yeah. How often does your daddy try to put that on?
He wants to know how often I try to wear your unicorn outfit. What do you think? How many times did you try to put it on before? No, she's going to be all shy now. Look, this is the wildest little thing right here. She is so crazy. And she's literally, get up here. She's 8 years old. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, you got bit by a vampire when you were 5, because she has literally the whole entire body of a 5-year-old, but she's 8. She's a little video thing. And this one right here, this is my 10-year-old. This is Bella. This is Bella, and that's Sophia right there.
He took off my weave.
I took your weave off. It's unbelievable. Eddie, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, man. All I got to say is, everybody, please, please, please share our shows, share the videos, share the podcast. Get these out to as many as you can. We need to get our voices heard. We can't get them heard without you guys. We're already being limited by Facebook as far as how far our shows travel.
Yep.
So basically, you know, if you don't know we exist, you probably won't ever know unless you guys share out the pages, share out the podcast, get this stuff out to where people know that we're here. Let's get a bigger audience. Let's make this audience grow. Let's get this out to everybody that we can. Want to tell everybody also that got to start fighting fire with fire. Let's take this mask stuff, for instance. If people come up to you, if you're not wearing a mask, and tell you that they're appalled or that you make them feel uncomfortable because you don't have a mask on, explain to them that it makes you uncomfortable because they have a mask. You know, it works both ways. So, I mean, we can't be sitting here doing this anymore. I don't sit there and take it. You know, I go into Walmart, and even though we're wide open, they urge you to wear a mask. And they're like, would you like a mask, sir? And I tell them, no, I'm trying to quit. You know, it's like a bad habit. People have a habit of wearing these masks.
You should offer a condom in, like, you know,
Yeah.
You want a mask, sir? Well, I got a Magnum. Nah, you probably won't fit that. Here's a lifestyle.
But seriously, I mean, it's one of those things where you got to start fighting fire with fire. People have become too comfortable wearing these damn masks. That's not what we're about. That's not what America's about. By all means, if you feel you need it, or if you feel that it's going to help you, by all means, wear it. But don't sit there and expect everybody else to wear the damn thing, because we're not going to. I'm not going to. And I know these gentlemen, if they don't have to, they're not going to.
No, sir.
So,
you know, real quick, Eddie, with the mask thing, if you grab a handful of sand and throw it through a chain link fence, that's the effectiveness of a mask right there.
absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a virus that got past a lab. Do Do you think a
Yep.
piece of cotton's going to stop it?
No, sir. Mm-mm.
You know, so I mean, do what you will, but you got to start fighting fire with fire. We have to start fighting fire with fire. We need to put our feet down and say, you know what? Enough's enough. The buck stops here. End of story. Because that's the only way we're going to get our country back. The only way. But I want to tell everybody that we love you guys. Thank you so much for showing up every week. We appreciate the support. We appreciate you guys stopping in, listening, and
Indeed.
sharing your comments and your thoughts. It means a lot to us. It really does. And we need to continue with this every week. And we need to continue with you guys showing up and bring your friends, tell your family, get more people in here. The more, the better. And at the very least, shoot them the show, send it to them or send them the podcast, whichever you prefer. But try and get the word out as much as possible. Let people know that there's people out here, our group, all of you, who speak our mind, and we're not afraid to do so. And like we say at the beginning, we don't care about their feelings. It is what it is. And we're going to say what we got to say. So until next week, y'all take care. We love you. God bless. Take care. Protect your family. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, guys. Good night, y'all.